Dawn, and we're here with Phil Collen to discuss his new band, Delta Deep. Hi, Phil. Can you tell us a little bit about the band?
I can indeed. We're playing our first gig tonight here in the lovely Hotel Cafe in LA. We've got our album coming out on the 23rd of June. We started it, me and Debbie Blackwell Cook, who was my wife's godmother. Okay. She been singing since she was 2. She's 62 next week, actually.
Oh, wow.
So, but she's been singing for 60 years. She's been doing that, and she's just got this amazing voice. And she sang at our wedding. We're always like kind of sitting around playing acoustic guitars, and that's really how it came about. And then people started saying we'd play a little bit, and they go, "Oh, where can we buy this?" So we started writing songs, me, Helen, and Debbie, and before you know it, we started recording. And then when it got electric, when we got Robert and Forrest in the band, it just took a left turn. It kind of sounded a little bit like Rage Against the Machine or Zeppelin with Tina Turner singing over it. That was the kind of vibe, and that's what everyone said when they heard it.
Well, that's one of the things I noticed is the people in the band have a very diverse musical background. Yeah. So I was wondering how everyone came together, being that it was everyone came from such different backgrounds.
Right. Well, me and Robert, we grew up listening to funk, blues, Motown, and it all kind of used to merge together. Little Richard, James Brown, Chuck Berry, and then the Stones got into that, and then everyone else did, and then Zeppelin did. So when I was 16, that's when I came into it. So I heard the Zeppelin Deep Purple part, and obviously, B.B. King and people like that. And I'd always been a fan of like Aretha Franklin and stuff like that. And I didn't really see a difference in genres. They all kind of sounded the same to me. When I heard Zeppelin, it was still the same-ish as hearing Aretha Franklin. I could still tell something was there in the Stones even, They were a blues band initially, and then it just turned into something else. So this is kind of like that, It started off very humble. Obviously, I play in Def Leppard, and Robert plays in STP, and they're very different. But what we grew up on, and he's been a fan of like Motown and stuff like that. So it was an easy connect, if that makes sense. We didn't have to try at all. We just naturally done this, and it gets louder and louder every time we play, which is great,
So as you said, this is the debut show tonight. So how long have you been working on this, and are you excited to finally get to play tonight?
I am. I've been playing for the last few months because Def Leppard's on tour. We literally just got back Sunday from Sweden. We've done Sweden, rocks, Finland. Was in Eastern Europe basically, and
it's festival season over there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was freezing, but I've been playing all the time, so that's been singing every night. So the next day we come back and we started doing Delta Deep rehearsals. So we had about four rehearsals this time. So it's really good and a very short set.
So the band is primarily focused on socially conscious issues. So what message and issues are you hoping to get out to the listeners?
Well, not really. I mean, the songs are about the stuff that blues was all about in the first place. Blues came about from slavery. And then there was spiritual and gospel music because it was an escape, a release, from this awful oppression and stuff. So that's how this music came out in the first place. So we're kind of doing that. You hear the suffering in Debbie's voice. She's been through a lot of real shit as well. Her son got murdered 2 years ago.
Wow.
My wife Helen, 2 of her 3 brothers were shot dead, murdered, and as well, one in Baltimore. So it's very close to home, and you hear that coming out. And I think really with a lot of like blues-based songs and stuff, you hear with some artists and that part is missing, that element is missing. And we're just kind of just bringing that back into it. It's just got the vibe of it and the feel. Everyone's just, like soul music now hasn't got any soul in it. So it's, you know what I mean? It's like, It's really weird. Country and Western's gone really weird. It's bro rock and pop and stuff like that, and it's taken the essence out of the original stuff. So we're just putting it back, really.
Well, is this the first time Helen has contributed artistically to some of your projects, and how was that working with her on that level with the music?
Yes and no. She's helped me like whenever she writes. She used to do like speeches. She's done spoken word. She's done like, you know,
Okay.
she's from Brooklyn, New York, and she's done a lot of stuff like that, and she's helped me with lyrics and stuff. My book, I've got a book coming out at the end of the year,
Oh, do you?
and yeah, and she's been helping me on that. So she's very great at composing stuff. So you know, and it wasn't like a Yoko Ono type. Everyone goes, oh my God, when you're working with your wife, yeah, right, where are we going with this? It was just a very natural thing. You know, we talk about stuff, and it just genuinely kind of, you know, morphs into something else, and before you know it, we're doing something creative together, which is great.
Cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that's really good. I know there's a lot of guest appearances on the album from your Def Leppard bandmate Joe Elliott. I think David Coverdale of Whitesnake, and also your Man Ray's bandmate Simon and Paul. This is kind of a lot of different style of music than Man Ray's. So how was it working with Simon and Paul on like a totally different kind of music? Did that just all come together really well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the last Man Ray single, I Surrender, had Debbie on it. So the Man Ray is very diverse anyway. You know, it's dub reggae 1 minute, kind of punk something the next. So this was just more of that, really. It was just the same kind of thing, and maybe I sing a little differently. You know, it's a lot. You know, this is very expressive, so you don't think about it too much. You just kind of let it go out. Like, for example, Def Leppard's very structured, and and you have to really think about it. And you can't step on, you know, 2 guitars, and there's all these backing vocals. So you really have to be careful when you're writing a song like that. But with Delta Deep, it was just pure expression. You know, we got the songs, they were expressive in the nature of what the songs were about for a start off. And then when we got to play them and perform them, that same deal. It just kind of, we just opened the door and just followed it out. It's just great. Really cool, I gotta say. It's goosebump time.
So speaking of Def Leppard, with Def Leppard, you're used to playing to thousands of people, stadiums, festivals. Is it refreshing to now with this band play to a smaller, more intimate crowd? Are you looking forward to that?
I'm really looking forward to it. It's because it's our first gig. You know, you want to start off like that, you know, and then just gradually build it. It's perfect, really. And then you know, I'd love to see us in a stadium, you know, or certainly an arena or a theatre or something. Theatre would be a perfect setting for this band. But
But you like to get back occasionally to play
and again, because of the way we sound and everything,
Yeah.
this is like a perfect. We done a sound check and it was like, wow, this is great.
Well,
It's just really good. And because we rehearsed last week at my house at first, so it's all quiet.
Yeah.
And Forrest was rehearsing electric drums. Then the next time we rehearsed at Robert's house, and he had a real drum kit, and we turned it up a little bit more, and that was mind blowing.
Not quite all the craziness.
Not quite, but then it's getting, and then we done sound check, and it's going to be monster. Yeah.
Cool. So, what are your future plans for Delta Deep? What can we look forward to in the future?
We've got like almost half another album written already.
Oh, really?
It's just flying. So we want to get this out of the way, get the album out, and then see what happens. And then you don't choose your audience. Your audience chooses you. And like we noticed that with Def Leppard. You know, you can try and appeal to a certain demographic, but that's not really how it works. So you know, if there's older people like this, great. But if younger people like it, or it's a rock audience, which, you know, it's more than a rock band, but if it goes that way, great. There's no worries, you know.
Cool. Well, we'll let you go. We'll wrap this up. Do you have any message for our Spirit of Metal viewers that will be watching this?
Yeah. Check us out. If you haven't got it, check out Delta Deep Blues. We've got Facebook and deltadeepblues.com, I think. Check that. That's what it is. So, and yeah, check out a new album. It's just monster. And we'll see you. And you know, it's our first gig, and we're going to do many more.
Cool. Thank you for your time.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye.
Hell's roof is shaking, trying to take me